I've participated in just about every kind of worship service you can imagine. But this, working with a ministry team with its creativity and its unity, is just the best that there is. It doesn't get any better than that. And I knew I was going to the right place when I watched one of your Sunday services a couple of weeks ago and heard the recitation of the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. For me, I have watched that prayer open so many hearts, not only to the presence of God, but to the possibility that I just might actually be made in that image and likeness. And it's not about being holier than anybody. It's about being full of fire and passion and creativity. And that's something that we all need to hear. We've needed to hear it all our lives. And thanks to this Buddhist, now we've got it. God bless Neil Douglas Klotz. Most of us, most of the time, have been taught to use personal pronouns to refer to God. He and his and him and mine and yours and her, sometimes her, not very often though. It speaks to us of presence, the immediate upfront, right there with us God, that we could speak to, that we can have a conversation with. But there's also principle. God is principle. And there aren't any real words for principle. I mean, how do you describe gravity? You fall down if you miss the step. That's about all you can say. But what does that feel like? Well, what does presence feel like? Let's see if we can get into some presence this morning, some real presence. And we'll do it talking about prayer, specifically what we've called the Lord's Prayer. We're told that that's the one Jesus taught his disciples. And now that I know it in Aramaic, I can believe it. I didn't used to. But prayer can be a dangerous thing. You could wind up with some major changes in your life. And the truth is, we experience changes all the time. There's nothing static about life at all. Somehow, as we expand our awareness and evolve in consciousness, the rate of change also seems to accelerate. Anybody feeling a little bit out of breath lately? A little bit rushed? No, you're all right on the pace. Okay. I'm out of breath. And I'm damp as well. Ooh, boy. But you see, those are just life experience changes I'm talking about. But prayer is different because it can cause you to change, you as a person. And it can cause you to change at a rapid pace, but that cannot come by accident. We have to seek it. We have to want it. We've got to go looking for it. I want something more. I want that sacred connection. I want to know what it feels like to understand the divinity that I carry. We have to want it and seek it. So, we're all familiar with praying. Sometimes formal prayers like the Lord's Prayer, and sometimes simple silent meditation. And usually that's my favorite. I like to put my feet up on the raised bed in my garden and just watch the roses and listen to the bees buzz and just till the silence just takes over everything and peace enters. That is my favorite time. There are those who say prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening to God. Well, so what? You got to do both, right? It's an exchange. It's a thing that comes back and forth. So suppose you had an opportunity to really listen to God. I mean, out loud, with your ears. Suppose it turned into an actual conversation, an exchange of ideas. Let me just give you a little example. Let's say that I'm someone who prays every day, and I attend church fairly regularly. Just an ordinary person. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing any holier about me than anyone else. I'm just trying to live life the best that I can, and hopefully to find some kind of a spiritual connection to fill up that space in me that's longing for it. It might look something like this. It's bedtime, and I'm about to do my daily prayer. So I invite you to let your imagination put yourselves in my place. What would you do if you could hear God calling? Our Father, who art in heaven.
Yes.
Don't interrupt me. I'm praying.
But you called me.
Called you? I didn't call anyone. I'm praying, Our Father who art in heaven.
There you did it again.
Did what?
You called me. You said, Our Father who art in heaven. So, what's on your mind?
But I didn't mean anything by it. I was just saying my prayers for the day. I always say the Lord's Prayer. It makes me feel good, kind of like getting a serious duty accomplished.
All right. Go on.
Okay. Hallowed be thy name.
Hold it, hold it. What did you mean by that?
By what?
By the words, hallowed be thy name.
It means, good grief, I don't know what it means. How should I know? It's just part of my prayer. So what does it mean?
It means honored, wonderful, holy.
That makes sense. I never thought about what hallowed meant before. Let's push the pause button on that for just a moment. What we're hearing is the beginning of a shift from rote prayer to understanding prayer. How many of you remember May Rowland? She was kind of a protege of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. She's the first one they trusted to be the director of Silent Unity, which she was for many years. She wrote quite a few books, but she was the praying champion. She was tall and slender and beautiful, fiery red hair, multiple marriages, and absolutely outrageous. But when she spoke the word was spoken and it stayed spoken. And there's a legend of Unity Village of her and James Dillett Freeman at the top of that water tower standing there watching a tornado move toward the village. And May did this. You get the hell out of here. And legend says they watched that tornado turn around. Actually, Jim Freeman says they watched that tornado turn around, and they've never had a tornado at Unity Village. It's been 60 or 70 years since that happened. She was a tough lady. She knew what she was talking about, and she lived what she said, and she was absolutely convinced and attached and aware of her oneness with the divine. Here's what she has to say in The Magic of the Word. Understanding prayer takes practice. Speak the word, think the thought, relax, let go, and let God take over. Let God answer. Get the feeling of God's presence with you. All of this comes through the practice of prayer. You can't get it in a book. I know I love SAE classes too, but you can't get it in a book. You've got to put feet on your faith and do it. So, let's go. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Do you really mean that?
Well, sure, why not?
What are you doing about it?
Doing? Well, nothing, I guess. I just think it'd be kind of nice if you'd kind of get control down here like you got up there.
Have I got control of you?
Well, I go to church. My kids are in Sunday school.
That isn't what I asked. What about all those fibs you like to tell so often? And your bad temper? You have a problem there, you know. And then there's the way you spend your money, all on yourself. And the books that you read. Oh, boy.
Come on, stop picking on me. I'm just as good as those other phonies who go to church.
Excuse me? I thought you were praying for my will to be done. If that is to happen, it has to start with the ones who are praying for it, like you, for example.
Oh, all right. I guess I do have some bad habits. Now that you mention it, I could probably think of some others.
Yeah, so could I.
I haven't thought about it very much till now, but I really would like to cut out some of those things. I would like to, I'd like to be really free.
Good. Now we're getting someplace. Working together, growth can be achieved, even healing. I'm proud of you.
And the bottom line is prayer changes us, not God. Once you start, there's no turning back. Prayer is an exercise to change our own thoughts, our own habits, and so we may set up a whole new and better activity in accord with the divine law. That's from Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters. A whole new activity in accord with divine law. Look, Lord, I need to finish up here. This is taking a lot longer than it usually does. So, give us this day our daily bread.
You need to cut out the bread. You're overweight as it is.
I love this guy. What is this? Criticize me day? Here I am doing my religious duty, and all of a sudden you break in and you remind me of all my hang-ups. Thanks a lot. I really feel good now. Prayer is great stuff.
Prayer is actually a dangerous thing. You could wind up changed, you know. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. You called me, and here I am. It's too late to stop now. Keep on praying. I'm really interested in the next part of your prayer. Well, go on.
I'm scared too.
You're scared of what?
I know what you'll say.
Try me and see.
And forgive us our debts as we have forgiven our debtors.
Uh-huh. Well, what about Bill?
I knew it. See, I knew you'd bring him up. Why, Lord, he's told lies about me. He cheated me out of some money. He never paid me back anything that he owes me. I've sworn I'm going to get even with Bill.
But your prayer. What about your prayer?
I didn't mean it.
Well, at least you're being honest about that one. But it's not much fun carrying that bitterness around inside of you, is it?
No, but I'll feel better as soon as I get even. Boy, have I got some plans for old Bill. He'll wish he never even met me.
I got news for you. You're not going to feel any better. You'll feel worse. Revenge isn't sweet. Think about how happy you already are. But we can change that.
Well, we can? How?
Quite simple. Forgive Bill. Then you'll be able to accept forgiveness for yourself. Then the hate and the anger will be Bill's problem, not yours. You may have lost some money, but you'll have a peaceful heart.
Oh, but Lord, I can't forgive Bill.
Well, then there's no forgiveness for you.
Okay, you're right. You always are. And more than I want revenge on Bill, I want to be right with you. Oh. Okay, I forgive him. I'll even hold a vision of him finding a right road in life. You know, he's bound to be awfully miserable now that I think about it. Anybody who goes around doing the things he's doing to other people has to be really out of it. Some way, somehow, his spirit will show him a better way, and I really believe that's going to happen.
There now. Wonderful. How do you feel?
Well, not so bad. Not bad at all. You know, I feel pretty great. I don't think I'll even have to go to bed uptight tonight for the first time since I can remember. Maybe I won't be so tired all the time because I'm not getting enough rest. And we push pause again from Mr. Freeman, our friend. Effective prayer requires a cleansing of the mind. Resentment kills our prayers. I cannot pray for myself without praying for my brother. And I cannot pray for my brother without praying for my enemy. For prayer is that which unites me with God, and the nearer I draw to God, the nearer I draw to my fellows.
You're not through with your prayer, you know. Go on.
Oh, all right. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Good. Good. I'll do that. Just don't put yourself in a place where you can be tempted.
What do you mean by that?
Well, change some of your friendships. Some of your so-called friends are not a good influence for you. Don't be fooled. They say they're having fun, but But for you, they could be a disaster. Either you're going to have to stop being seen with them, or being with them, or start being a positive influence in their lives. You have to put feet on your faith. Don't use me for an escape hatch.
I don't understand that.
Sure you do. You've done it many times. You get yourself caught up in a bad situation, you get in trouble, and then you come running to me. Lord, help me out of this mess, and I promise I'll never do it again.
No.
You do remember some of those bargains you tried to make with me?
Yeah, and I'm really ashamed of them. I really am.
So which bargain are you remembering?
Well, when the woman next door heard me repeating some really nasty gossip, and I remember telling you, oh God, don't let her repeat what I said. I promise I'll be in church every Sunday.
And she didn't repeat it, did she? But you didn't keep your promise, did you?
I'm sorry, Lord, I really am. You know, up to now, I thought if I just prayed the Lord's Prayer every day, then I could do what I liked. I didn't expect anything to happen like it did. So let me ask you, do you have a fix-it God? A handyman that you call when you've got a leak or when the light won't come on? You know, one of the problems with using personal pronouns for God is that we tend to develop a parent-child relationship in our own minds. And what do children do? They rebel. And then they get into trouble, and then they expect their parents to fix everything for them. Well, God doesn't fix anything for us. When we have a change of heart, our experience in the world changes. What was that song earlier? Change my heart, oh God. Change my heart, oh God. You don't have to change anyone else, just our own hearts.
Well, quit stalling and go ahead and finish your prayer.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
You know what would bring me glory? I mean, what would really make me happy?
No, but I'd like to know. You see, I want to feel closer to you. I can see what a mess I make sometimes in my life, and I could sort of understand how great it would be to be really closer to you.
Well, you just answered the question.
I did?
Yes. The thing that would bring me glory is to have people like you truly love. To see you discover that I'm in each one of you and that you are one through my spirit. I can see that happening. And now that some of these old mistakes are exposed and out of the way, well, there's no telling what we could do together.
Lord, let's see what we can make of me.
Let's see, but not what we can make of you. You already have all of my potential in you. You're already an expression of me in this life. Let's see what we can discover about you.
So, if it's true that we're one with God, created in the image and likeness of the divine, then there's nothing outside of us that can be against us or limit us in every way. You are the breath of God is the name of another one of my favorite songs. And we were watching a show yesterday, talking about the breath of life. So what about you? What have you discovered about the presence and the power of God in you? Another thing we learned is that the Maori symbolize it like this. This is a symbol of that energy that flows through us and unites us. There's no separation. Well, I invite you to do what May Rowland suggested. Get the feeling of God's presence with you. It's real easy here in Unity to be on a head trip most of the time because the stuff that we teach is important and it works and it's true. But if you read a little bit more deeply into Charles Fillmore, he doesn't say it's thought that changed your life. It's thought with feeling. The marriage of what you're thinking and what you're feeling is what creates that ball of creative energy that carries you forward into a different life. Get the feeling of God's presence in you, and I promise you will change. So let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, O birther, father, mother of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. O thou, the breathing life of all, creator of the shimmering sound that touches us in the roar and in the whisper, in the breeze and in the whirlwind, we hear your name. Hallowed be thy name. Focus your light within us. Make it useful as the rays of a beacon show the way. Help us breathe one holy breath, feeling only you. One holy breath. In peace the name resides, a holy of holies, open, giving light to all. Let's take that holy breath together. And so it is.